Today we are studying human physiology. Human physiology we are studying from the class 11th NCERT book. So the very first chapter is breathing and exchange of gases. We know that living organisms they require energy for their survival and to perform the various activities. Energy is produced Energy is produced by indirectly breakdown of simple molecules like glucose, amino acids, fatty acids. This process requires oxygen and it releases CO2 in the environment. So we can summarize it as follow that glucose, amino acids and fatty acids they are catabolized into simpler substances. This process releases energy. In this process, oxygen is utilized and CO2, which is harmful for our body or any organism, this harmful CO2 is released into the environment. So, from this flow chart, we can ascertain that it means that organisms or cells they need constant supply of oxygen for their needs of energy, and in turn they also need to get rid of the harmful CO2 that is produced in this process. So how do we get rid of this oxygen and how do we obtain oxygen? In any organism, this process is achieved by a process named as breathing. So what is breathing? What do you mean by breathing? Breathing is a process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere and release of CO2 into the atmosphere. It means that oxygen is uptaken from the environment and in turn CO2 is released into the environment or atmosphere. The process involving this is called breathing. According to NCERT, breathing is commonly known as respiration, but there are some differences between the two. So, what is breathing and what is a respiration? Breathing is a physical act of moving air into and out of the lung, but respiration is a chemical process. It involves converting the glucose into energy within cells. So, when we place our hand on our chest and we feel the movement of our chest, that process is the breathing. That physical act is the breathing. The chemical reactions that are ongoing in our body to break the glucose into energy, the whole process is known as respiration. So, how do various organisms breathe? How do various organisms breathe? Different organisms have different structures for breathing. These have different specialized structure. These specialized structures are called respiratory organs. So, what are the various respiratory organs? Uh, Mechanism of breathing it differs among the group of animals. It differs among different group of animals depending on what? Depending on first the habitat and second is the level of organization. So mechanism of breathing differ in different organisms depending upon habitat and level of organization. It means the organisms with lower level of organization have the simpler methods of breathing, and the other organism like human beings with the high level of organization they have different specialized organs for breathing. So now we study these one by one. The first method is by simple diffusion. Simple diffusion is a process of exchange of oxygen and CO2 over the entire body surface. This process is utilized by lower invertebrates like sponges, then with the coelentrates and flatworms. Second, we have moist cuticle respiration through moist cuticle. This process is utilized by earthworm. Third, we have network of tubes or tracheal tubes. We call it tracheal tubes. This method is utilized by insects or the arthropods. And the gills are the specialized structure which are specialized vascular structure. These are used by aquatic arthropods, mollusks, and fishes. The respiration via gills is known as brachial respiration. Finally, we have lungs. Lungs are the vascularized bag. This type of respiration is called pulmonary respiration, and respiration via lungs is used by amphibians, it is used by reptiles, it is used by birds and mammals. So amphibians like frog can respire through the moist skin also. This process is known as cutaneous respiration. So amphibians like frog have two types of respiration. First, we have the first is the lungs, and second they can also respire through cutaneous respiration, like they can also respire to their moist skin. So that's all for today. The breathing and exchange of gases, we have studied about why do we need to breathe, to breathe in oxygen and to breathe out carbon dioxide. We have studied about the difference in the breathing and respiration, and we have studied about the various organs or various methods by which the different organisms breathe. Later we will study about the structure of lung and mechanism of breathing in humans.